Masvidal was ready to jump into this situation. I talked to his manager. He thought somebody might get hurt, so he's been training. So he was ready to take on either style. But when it comes to Usman, he was preparing for a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu that really counts on takedowns and scrambles. Masvidal pretty much counts on and relies on his takedown defense and his fast counter ability. So it is a completely different fight for Usman. Masvidal really likes to take his time early and defend the takedowns, get the timing and how his opponents like to set up their takedowns if they are that style of grappler, which he's faced a couple times. But I don't think Masvidal has ever faced the level of grappling and power of Usman. Usman has a style where he sets up his takedowns with big, powerful strikes, and he explodes and covers so much distance that with his shots and with his strikes, you can't tell which he's doing. Is he throwing a punch or is he taking a shot? And when you get tricked in those little habits, you get caught. And that's how he's finished a lot of people. The real intangible in this fight, I believe, is who can dictate the pace. Can Masvidal keep the pressure and get the respect to stuff the takedowns and get ahead later in the rounds as he stuffs the early takedowns? Or will Usman really get ahead on the cards like he does? He really over offenses everybody he fights and overwhelms them until they have nothing left. Will he be able to do that and keep Masvidal on his heels? That's what each fighter needs to look for, and it comes down to pace in this matchup, especially on short notice, as you were mentioning. Masvidal probably wants to try to get Usman out of there early because he still has cardio, but Usman has a habit of really keeping a heavy pace for 5 rounds. So I'm looking for Masvidal probably try to get it done within 3. If you're Usman, grind him out until he has nothing left. If you can get it done early, get it done. But Masvidal has a very good chin. I don't think he's ever even been dropped, and neither is Usman. So there's a good chance this could go the distance. If I had to guess one, I would say Masvidal in 3.
Like, even me and Hoyer were working together yesterday. It's a secret. I can't tell you what for. Do you guys know? You'll never know until it comes out. We're working together yesterday, and we were cordial, we were nice to each other, we were having fun, and it was cool. Even though I'm fighting this boy this weekend, you know? So this is just the game we play. Like, Kamaru is friends with guys I'm going to fight, or I have already fought. But in this fight, I'm going Kamaru.
Oh, that's a difficult one. Masvidal's coming in with more confidence. You know, he's knocked out Darren Till, got the fastest knockout in the UFC against Ben Askren, and he's no slouch. He's got some high-level wrestlers in right now. I saw a picture of him with Bo Nichols, who's a high-level wrestler in his camp and is very well known. It's very difficult to pick, but if Usman decides to keep the fight standing, I think he's going to have a hard time. I think he's going to revert to his wrestling, what you normally see Usman doing to people, and that's just getting up against the cage, taking him down, and just grinding him out. That's his jam. The guy's got cardio for days, but you know, going back and watching George Masvidal face against Daniel Maia, his takedown defense is high notch. So, man, it's a toss-up. I have no idea. I hate predicting those kind of fights because it's very difficult. Both are very high level. I'm not picking. I can't. I have no idea.
Well, that's not even on the books, man. Yeah. Hey, we're not on the same team, but we're in the same stable right now. So you have to pick a side when it comes to life or death, and that's what we're doing in there. You cannot play the middle, so I'm picking Usman.
If that happens, it looks like they might do something else. I don't know, but that's an amazing fight too. I think Masvidal could present a lot of problems to Usman. Because he has like a different style of striking. He's tricky on the feet, very experienced guy. But I think Usman's one of those guys that's very smart fighter. He's calculated, power on the feet, also very high level wrestler. And I think he can utilize that against Masvidal. I think Usman would win by decision.
Tell you what, I look at what Usman did in the Colby Covington fight, and I was really impressed that he was so confident in his stand-up that he didn't even try for the takedowns. Yeah. And that, to me, leads to the point of he's becoming more and more comfortable in that position. But I would always say you never fight another man's fight. If you're gonna face George Masvidal, you're gonna say that, look, he's a stand-up guy. He's a guy that wants to be on his feet, and he lands beautiful combinations. He's not a one-punch knockout artist. he breaks you down with combinations and then can land the one shot that can put you away. But it's his ability to break you down with landing all of these beautiful shots that he goes up and down with. I think that Usman needs to take George Masvidal down to win that fight. I think he's got to take him off his feet. He's got to rough him up on the ground. He's got to slow down what George does, and he's got a very good chance of winning that fight. You know, I would say he's the favorite going in.